desperate to see the kingdom of God break into our lives.
삶 가운데 하나님의 나라를
Cry out to you with all
We read in Luke 12 that a man in a crowd cried out to Jesus and asked Jesus to be an arbitrator. He said, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." We can see probably this is a situation involving some social inequity, some social injustice. And he's really appealing to Jesus for social justice. In this case, he's being cheated out of his inheritance. And Jesus surprisingly answers, "Man, who made me a judge or arbitrator over you?" Now, to many, this seems puzzling because we would think, wait a minute, Jesus is the righteous judge. He's going to judge every single human being on the day of judgment. So why does he refuse to get involved in this man's legal dispute? It's not that God doesn't care about social justice. Obviously, he does. God cares about the issues of the poor. He cares about issues of social inequity. But Jesus has something more important to teach about here, and that is this issue of the soul. This issue of worship, the issues regarding our right relationship with God. And instead, Jesus begins to put his finger probably on what was the real issue in this young man's heart, and that was this issue of covetousness. Now, covetousness is not just being envious of things that other people have. It can also include wanting more than you have. You're just not happy with what you have, and you want more and more and more. And so to illustrate this teaching, Jesus tells a parable about a rich man who had such abundance, his barns were overflowing. He didn't have big enough barns to hold all of his wealth, and so he decides, I'm going to pull down my barns and build greater barns, and then I'll have enough, I'll sit back, retire, enjoy the easy life, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, "Fool, this night your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? So is he who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God." Now this young man is appealing to Jesus for a treasure that he believes rightfully should belong to him. Probably we would assume this is the younger brother because the older brother would get the double inheritance. But now it seems the older brother is just taking everything for himself, and the younger brother is feeling cheated. This offense has just provoked this desire for social justice, social equity. And Jesus says, no, there's something more important. There's something that trumps, if you will, this important issue of social justice, and that is the need to be rich toward God, the issues of the soul, your right relationship with God. When we begin to allow these issues of social inequity to provoke us to want more, this dissatisfaction, it's not that there's a danger that we begin to only live in the here and now and just wanting to accumulate things and wanting more things for ourselves. And there's the danger toward covetousness. It's that slippery slope. Once you give into it, you just begin to go further and further and further, and then enough is never enough. I think Jesus instead, he teaches us to live simply, to believe God, that God will provide for us what we need. Anything beyond that becomes sin because it creates this dissatisfaction with what we have. And really, Jesus is dealing with the issue of idolatry that is in the heart, that fallen nature tends to gravitate toward making an idol out of something. And if God is not on the throne, then there is this danger that other things will be. And in this case, he's talking about riches. It's not that God doesn't want us to be blessed. Jesus promised the 100-fold blessing to everybody who would forsake all and follow him. That's the key. Are you willing to lay it on the altar? Are you willing to die to your selfish desires? Are you willing to lay down your selfish self-interest and instead put God on the throne, live to please him, learn how to be content in all things? It's not easy, but it is the way of Jesus. And if we are going to be his disciples, we have to do it his way.